Hey guys, so figured I might as well give you a shop tour video today. I'm going to do a complete shop tour video once this place is all set up over on the Outdoors 55 channel, but I know there's a couple of you who, literally a couple of you who watch this channel, and I kind of like that. I kind of like not having anybody watching. It's like my own secret little channel I can upload anything to and no one complains. The shop is a complete mess because I'm still moving stuff around. I'm literally moving stuff around right now. There's stuff in the back of my truck and I've got stuff on the floor in boxes and literally just laying on the floor because I don't have a place to put it. That's one thing I'm over here working on today. But anyway, this is basically it. It's a little bit different than it was when I showed it last time. And you've probably seen it in a couple of the Outdoors 55 videos in its current state. So I know in the old shop update video that I made like a month ago saying that I was going to get a new shop, I know I said that I was going to be doing drywall and a wall here. Well, there's a wall here, it's just a drop cloth wall, and there's a wall back there, it's just not covered with drywall. The reason for that is because, well, there's a couple of reasons. The first reason is that I'm not 100% sure where I want to locate everything. I have the grinder right here, right now. Let me turn off this light, because this is really distracting. So I have the grinder set up right here, right now, but I'm not sure if that's going to be permanent. It's on a wheelie cart, so I can wheel it around. And I have the heat treating stuff set up back there. I'm not sure if that's going to be permanent. That oven has a dedicated outlet into the panel, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure if this is where I want to leave it. So for now, I'm just going to kind of work in here temporarily until I can figure out exactly what works where and what doesn't, and then move the outlets where I need to, exactly where I need to, and then re-drywall everything. Now, I don't have enough power into the shop to run everything at one time. I have enough power in here to run two pieces of equipment at the same time. So I can either run my grinder and the oven, or I can run the grinder and the air compressor. And that's another thing, or that's another reason that I'm waiting on this, because if I end up being here for a significant amount of time, more than a couple of years, what I'm going to end up doing is just having a new panel installed and getting proper electric run so that I can run everything at the same time and I don't have to worry about it. The thing is that I'm not sure how long I'm going to be here. It's kind of a unique situation. So to do drywall in here, it's not going to be that big a deal. I could throw up some drywall in a couple of hours and finish it. That's not a big deal. That's what I do. It's what I used to do every day. Well, maybe not every day, but it was my day job for a long time doing that kind of stuff. So that's not a big deal. It's just that I don't want to do it too soon. I don't want to spend the little bit of money and time in here to do that if it's not completely and totally necessary, and I don't want to have to go back and redo stuff. Let's start with the front here. So I got the grinder here on a wheelie cart. This was a pre-existing cart that was already here. Someone built it before me, but I had to put a couple of temporary braces on it, and the thing is super sturdy and super steady, so my grinder runs on it fine. I don't get any vibration whatsoever. It's solid as a rock. And the nice thing about having it on a wheelie cart like this is that if I was to do something super dirty, super dusty, all I have to do is just wheel the thing outside rather than you know, worrying about dust collection and all that other stuff. There's a dust collector in this corner, but it's not the kind of dust collector that I need. That thing is filled with sawdust. It's not a metal dust collector, and I don't know if you can modify these to make them capable of sucking metal dust, hot metal dust. I don't know if that's a modification that can be made to these or not. I'm gonna have to look into that. If not, then that thing is gonna go away and something else will go there. Air compressor down there for that's actually not my air compressor, but I'm using it right now. I have a bigger air compressor at my house that is much better suited for this, but I'm just kind of trading right now. And the air compressor is to run this thing, the Cool Mist, which is awesome, by the way. I should have got that a long time ago. 4x36 here. It's still something I use all the time. Drill press. I have my big drill press still at the house that I gotta move. That thing weighs like 300 pounds and I need a hand doing it. That's probably also gonna go on this bench. A drill press is like one of the most used tools for what I do. So having two of them is definitely gonna be nice. Bandsaw kind of set up on a temporary stand and table. This table works. Been looking at getting the one from Schweg, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I'll probably end up doing that eventually because this isn't super mobile it's like permanently mounted here with screws and stuff. So I'll probably end up getting one of those at some point. This shelf, you know, this is kind of just a temporary thing to put stuff on. I got stuff laying here that needs to be hung up and go in drawers and all that other stuff. All of my knife making material is in here, pins and handle material, and there's some steel up here. Basic stuff, that's my sharpening bin down there, sharpening stones and all that. And then this here has to be replaced because I couldn't get the drawer open, and I literally had to break the drawer to get it open. I couldn't get my hand or anything in there to unjam it. That holds all my sandpaper and all kinds of little odds and ends. And then this table here is a 4x8 sheet of plywood, 2x4 table, and this is my heat treating area, or it will be. Ovens here, dedicated outlet for it there, right next to the panel. And then I found this thing, which is kind of cool. This is an old Camp Coleman stove, and I'm going to use that to preheat my oil. I was using one of those cheaper camping stoves, and when you set a big pot of oil on top of it, it was like super unsteady, and it worried me every time I did it. I don't have to worry about that with this. I have my Kydex press and stuff there. I got more Kydex stuff in those cases back there. And then I have my little oven. My oven, I'll never get rid of you. I have that sitting back there. You're probably going to be asking why this table is 4 foot by 8 foot and it's against the wall. A lot of that has to do with making YouTube videos, because when you build a 2 foot desk, or two foot desk, when you build a 2 foot workbench and you put it against the wall, you can't place a camera behind what you're doing. So what I'm going to be able to do with a larger bench here, now that I have some space, is pull everything forward, and I'll literally be able to set a camera up behind what it is that I'm doing. And it just helps make making YouTube videos a lot easier. I have my little buffer here, which needs to be replaced because it just needs to be replaced. This is the thing I was talking about that falls over. I mean, you know, you set a gallon of oil on top of there and it's not super steady. This table saw is not mine. That'll be going away, and I'll have more space back here. I'm thinking about having all of my Kydex stuff back here. It seems to stay a little bit cleaner back here, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't have room for a clean room, so to speak. I don't know, maybe one day. This saw, this scroll saw here, well, that's going away too. And this is basically my workbench. It's a 4 foot by 8 foot workbench, and the idea behind this is that this is where I'm going to be working on everything by hand. Now, the reason that I wanted my workbench kind of as an island is, again, for making YouTube videos, because what it allows me to do is take my big tripod that I've set up there and move it anywhere around the table. So if I'm doing something here in the front, in order to get this shot here, I can just move my tripod to that side of the table, or I can set the tripod directly onto the table and get an overhead shot much easier. If I had made this say 2 foot wide and built it into the wall, I wouldn't be able to do that, and I'd have to make some kind of overhead shooting rig or whatever to get those same things, and I have to move the camera around, and it just adds a lot of time, because I spend more time messing with a stupid tripod than I think I do anything else. I have my vise mounted here. I'm not real sure I like it there for a couple of reasons. One of those reasons is that I'd like to be able to use this for to help forge stuff and that kind of thing, and it's not super ideal to run from the forge and then over here and whatnot. So I may end up making kind of like a portable, heavy-duty, non-wobble stand for this thing to sit on, so that I can, if I had to, I can move it around. But it's going to have to be super, super heavy in order to remain stable and do stuff on. So that might be something I end up doing in a future video, because having that bolted down in a single spot really limits its usability. So yeah, there's that. I still have, again, a bunch of tools and stuff in buckets. I'm not one of those people who likes to have their tools in drawers. I like to have them out in the open, like on pegboard or a tool stand. With this setup, it kind of presents a problem because I don't have a wall back here in order to hang stuff on. That's kind of a big problem, because that means I have one, or that basically limits my options as far as how I store my tools. I can either put them in drawers, which I really don't like doing. Drawers are where stuff goes to die, in the words of Adam Savage. What I do like is I like Adam Savage's tool stands that he's made. And I'll either make something like that, or I might just buy something to get it out of the way that I can store tools on that are out in the open, because I got to be able to see stuff. If I can't see it, then I don't know I have it, and again, it'll go in a drawer and never be seen again. So hold on one second, my camera's about to overheat. Anyway, like I was saying, the forge is here near the door, and the anvil is here. One thing that I've learned super quickly about forging stuff is that the forge really needs to be much higher. Bending down constantly, let me show you this here. Bending down constantly to put stuff in and look at stuff, it's just not super ideal. It's hard on the back, and it's hard on everything. So I'm gonna have to either get or build a higher stand for this. The only problem that presents is that my ceiling in here is fairly low. And when this thing has all three burners going, it cooks. I mean, there's flames shooting out of this thing that are practically this high. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. It may be something that I can only run outside. I'm just not 100% sure of. The anvil is there. It's on my little tree stump stand. That works okay. It wobbles around a bit. It's really not heavy enough for what I need. I'm going to have to, I think, make another one out of maybe a piece of green wood, something that's a lot heavier, because it's just too easy to move around. The anvil itself is 110 pounds. And I think if it was mounted on a larger, heavier mount, it would be a heck of a lot better. Because when I take this thing outside and kind of set it in the dirt where it doesn't move around as much, then it's a world of difference. The only problem with that is I can't do that all the time. I mean, if it's raining out here, if it was snowing, I wouldn't be able to do that. But anyway, I think that is basically the entire workshop as it sits now. The bandsaw there, that is staying. I'm like pointing towards the door in real life, but what you see is the bandsaw. That bandsaw will probably go somewhere. It'll probably go, I don't know, maybe back there, up in the corner here. I'm just not sure yet. Once that saw is moved out and the dust collection things moved out or replaced or whatever. But that's essentially it as far as the shop goes. So another thing I wanted to show you real quick is my YouTube camera setup. I had a couple people ask about this. And this is basically it. It's a Sony a6300. It's got a small cage on it. It has a small HD monitor. And this is an absolute must-have for this camera. I don't know how I use this camera so long without a monitor. This changed an awful lot. It's just made making videos so much more easy, so much more efficient. The onboard mic that I use is the Rode Video Mic Pro. There's a ton of different Rode video mics out there, and it's kind of confusing, their product name. But this is the Micro. It's like a $50 mic. Sound quality is okay. It's not great. A lot of times lately I've been recording sound on my sound recorder. I have this here. This is the charger, and this actually plugs into the cord down there, and that helps power the camera. The weird thing is that it doesn't power the camera solely. You got to have like a charged battery in there in order for it to work, but it extends the battery life to all day if you have it plugged in. So that's the bad thing about this camera, the a6300, basically the A series cameras, is that they're terrible on battery. I mean, I have like 10 of the batteries, and they're like 50, 60 bucks a piece, and I still find myself running out of battery. The other nice thing about this monitor is that you can power the camera off of the bigger battery, and I have some of the bigger L series Sony batteries. They're like this big. Problem is that they're super heavy, and they kind of weigh down the entire thing. Not that this isn't a super small setup in the first place, but this camera will run for like 3.5 hours with those bigger batteries. So that's one way you can get better battery life out of this. But that's basically my camera setup. It's on a Manfrotto photo tripod, the B-Free Advanced, and I like the photo tripod because I can move it in all kinds of different ways. I can tilt this all the way straight down. These legs fold all the way out. I could spread them all the way out if I wanted to. And it it really moves in a bunch of different weird ways. I think eventually I will end up getting a nicer video tripod for this so that I can do some other stuff. But for now, this is what I'm using. It's not a super small, compact, lightweight setup, but it works. What I'm using right now is the Sony a5100. It's a great little camera, and it would be an awesome little camera if it didn't overheat. I basically have about 5 minutes worth of recording time on this thing before it just shuts completely off on me due to overheating. The nice thing is I can just turn it back off and turn it back on again, and I get another 5 minutes. It's annoying because you'll be in mid-sentence and the thing will just shut off, and it's really not ideal for doing my style of YouTube videos because I can't just set it up and leave it run for 10 or 15 minutes while I'm doing something because it'll shut off on me. The lens is a Sony 18-105. It's a good lens now that it's fixed. I had to send it back for repair twice to Sony because it was terrible right out of the box. It looked like 4K video was like 240p. It was horrible. I sent it off to them one time. It came back exactly the same. They just said that they cleaned it and it was fine. I ended up sending it back again, and I'm like, dude, you guys got to fix this. It came back again, totally repaired. They replaced something inside there and it came back fixed. So for now, that's the lens I'm using. The lens I'm using on this camera, which is the Sony a5100, is the kit lens, which I actually really like. I have 3 of them. 2 of them have huge scratches in the lens, and I purchased another one because I really like it. It's small, compact, it has a decent zoom range. And it really has a good image quality, especially for video. For pictures, it may not be the best, but for video, especially 1080p video, you can't tell anything. You can't tell any difference between this lens and this cheap kit lens for video. Anyway, that's the setup. I got a lot more work to do in here getting everything set up. My air compressor is actually in the back of my truck. But hopefully once it's all said and done, it'll be a nice place that I can work, make YouTube videos, make knives, have people come hang out, whatever. And yeah, should be a good time. So thank you guys for watching, and you know, let me know what you think. Like I said, I'll probably end up doing a video on the shop once it's a little more put together on the Untitled 55 channel, because I know some people like to watch that kind of stuff. I, for one, do like to watch that stuff. But the interesting thing is that my YouTube channel seems to be really diverse. It seems to be a lot of people who watch it for the knife making, a lot of people who only watch it for the knife sharpening stuff, which I haven't done a lot in the past. And then there's other people who watch for the pure entertainment value, which kind of blows my mind because I'm not that super entertaining. At least in real life I'm not. I'm just one of those people who kind of likes to hang out in the back and observe. But anyway, that's basically the state of the knife shop and the YouTube studio all in one. Again, let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video.